Welcome to the foundation. It is yours truly, the incredible DJ Battle in the building. Yeah, man, it's been a minute, but I had to get back after once things settled down. There's been a whole lot going on, but hey, it's disclaimer time. Basically, letting you guys know that hey, it's just the king up in here. I'm just going to cover just a couple of topics for you that took place in between the last show and the current one. And as usual, you know, I don't want no BS, no drama, no legal issues, none of the above, because it's for entertainment purposes only. All right, man, let's jump straight into it, man. This situation down here at the Texas Camp Mystic, and as you can see behind me, this happened before down there in 1987. You know, I think it was like 10 people that died in that one, but this one is a whole lot more catastrophic. I mean, one life is horrible, 10 is horrible. Man, this current one, 104 lives gone and counting. The death toll is steady rising because there's still a lot of folks not accounted for. This was something that was unpredictable, of course, because from my understanding, you know, the average thunderstorm in that area lasts usually around 10 to 15 minutes at the longest. This thunderstorm that happened on July 4th, they said lasted 4 or 5 hours of just constant rainfall, and they couldn't even get the warning to them in time. And they said the weather service said unless they had a certain service on their cell phone, they wouldn't have got the warning. So you can imagine, this storm hit like a little after 11 p.m. and really started accumulating really fast around midnight. And they said the water went from below flood level to like damn near 2 or 3 stories high, like as far as a building. Can you imagine that much water coming in a 3 or 4 hour period? That's a lot of water. And a lot of folks transitioned that night. They just didn't have enough of warning time. And I don't know if they could have did anything different. Well, they probably could have. And my thinking is this, when you go to camping anywhere, they try to frown upon using technology like cell phones, because the whole point is to get out there and enjoy nature. Kind of like detox from technology. The campers don't need to have the cell phone technology, but the administrators and the owners and the administrators should have an eye on developing situations, because this has happened before. Now it's easy to Monday night quarterback a situation and look back and say what you could have done. But yeah, this is horrible. I don't know what to say. There's nothing you can do but pray, because they said the only thing you can compare it to is the storm that hit North Carolina in the mountains last year. So that's the closest thing you can compare it to. And not only did the rain hit there, the rain also, we had a tropical storm come through here in my parts in North Carolina. And, I'm in Raleigh, right? So you can see right over my shoulder over here, here's Durham. So you look a little lower down here, you can see Raleigh, where I'm at. I'm in Norfolk, I'm in Raleigh, right? So, and when the storm did hit, you can see where the bands were currently at. The bands that you see that hit the hardest was Durham, and on further west. You can see it in Graham or Chapel Hill, Pinehurst, Southern Pines, Aberdeen, Mebane, those little cities like that, man, they got hit so hard. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is Chapel Hill right here, and then they had like a lot of other aerial views of just the place being totally underwater, man. I had no idea, because once again, if you look at the radar, we were sitting here waiting on the rain, and it never rained. It only did a light drizzle and a little wind. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, it must not have been that bad. It must have fizzled out. And then later on that evening, I started seeing the reports, and started to see the water levels up real high, and buildings up underwater. It was just It's terrible, man. And we all know that the big beautiful bill and was signed over the weekend. They're supposed to be getting rid of things like FEMA. They might want to reconsider that. With everything that we got, two catastrophes going on, one in Texas, one in North Carolina, and a whole lot of lives being affected where FEMA can help and help all those displaced people. It doesn't make sense to take that away. And for the for the benefit of some billionaires to, keep a little bit more money in their pocket. What y'all gonna buy? Extra missile or something? But anyway, the big beautiful bill, I'm not gonna go into details of the whole thing because there's enough content out there for you to research it. But I will tell you what you need to prepare for. One would be the Affordable Care Act, snatching it away. So that's going to affect a lot of low income people who rely on those low affordable insurance rates. It's going to affect the quality of care you get, in particular the rural communities. And what I mean is this: a lot of hospitals in those rural communities are definitely going to shut down. That's going to leave a lot of low income people in those rural communities displaced. And the sad thing about it is a lot of those folks out there voted for that. They voted for Trump to get into office and they got their wish, but at what expense? I would definitely recommend that you may want to consider moving to a larger city that has quality hospitals and healthcare, because you're going to need it. And if you're out there in those rural communities and something happens, God forbid, you're going to be up shit creek. I'm just going to be honest with you, because you're not going to have no one that can take care of you. You're more likely to transition out of here if you don't move to a bigger, larger city where you can get affordable healthcare, or at least get access to healthcare. Yeah, it's horrible. And we already know what the other issue is going to be. The immigration. Immigration has been beefed up through that big beautiful bill, and it's pretty much has a military-like presence as far as the funding and the resources they're going to get. And they're coming after migrants. They spread that backgrounds from Hispanic to the Haitians. They've already went after the Hispanic community. Once again, they were out there singing songs, making videos. We will vote for Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump over there singing and partying with him. And what he do the moment he get in office? Round him up with no conscience. Yeah, you've been here maybe one generation, but he's revoking all that. So it's scary times for for immigrants who are 1 or 2 generations removed, because they're taking them, right? And which brings us to the other conclusion over here, where they're taking them to places like Alligator Alcatraz. All right, so we see where it's going. We see what's really going on. They always knew that the immigrants provided low wages. They could pay them low wages to get a lot of things done. Now they're trying to make it even lower by just taking their freedom, not necessarily deporting them out the country, but relocating them to places like this, which is called Alligator Alcatraz. And it's like slavery all over again. And we see who the targets are right now. They're going, like I said, I told y'all a few weeks ago, a month ago, they have projects going on where they're rounding them up, going to Home Depots. We see what's going on already out there in California. It also is happening here in my neck of the woods in Charlotte, Raleigh. The ICE presence is getting bigger. They're and it's concerning. It's concerning because folks, that usually will be out trying to, earn a living, hanging out at a Lowe's or Home Depot, or, I've seen a lot. I've seen video clips of ICE agents pulling up on work sites, construction sites, in the middle of a project, or where the immigrants immigrants / workers were just on, like, probably was working on the roof or something. They refused to come down because they knew as soon as they come down, they were being detained or deported. It's nasty work. It really is. It's horrible. You know, and now we saw also in places like New York where they're trying to target, ISIS trying to target, Haitians, and they're getting some pushback though. Haitians not going away quietly, and the fact that people are rising up. So now you just starting to see, more aggression towards rounding up immigrants, and it's almost like a mini war on the ground front. Yeah, so all this took place over the holiday weekend, being the 4th of July. Usually, a lot of folks like to go, out, celebrate, get fireworks. And my whole thing of what fireworks is, if I'm going to deal with fireworks, I'm gonna let the professionals do it. That means I'm gonna be a mile or two back and let the city do it. You know what I'm saying? Let them shoot it up, right? What you're not gonna see me do is take some high-powered fireworks, put them in my hand, and try to light them up like this rapper 4 Extra. And he's not the only one I saw do this. Of course his wasn't videoed, but I saw someone else who blew off like 3 of their fingers. These folks do not pay attention to the type of power they have in their hands, the type of dangerous power they hold in their hands once you light it up. And I don't know what this rapper was thinking about 4 Extra. And it was like those 2 cherry bombs. Even 1 cherry bomb would blow off part of your fingers. This guy, from my understanding, I think he has 2 fingers left. I just can't imagine, especially being a DJ, the things I like to do with my hands. That just makes life a whole lot more different. It makes, every aspect of it different. Intimacy, you trying to hold, I just had to switch hands, I guess. But let me quit. But no, man, in all seriousness, man, leave it to the professionals. When it comes to fireworks, leave it to the professionals. I do not mess with them at all. I spent most of my time on the 4th of July at home, cooking, relaxing. I'm not about to be out in that foolishness, lighting up fireworks. Nah, for the little satisfaction you get for the ooh and ah, the risk you take, especially if you lighten them up yourself, it just ain't worth it, man. It's just not. But yeah, man, it's a whole lot more I could touch on, but I'm not gonna get long-winded. I'll definitely be back though. And if you have been on this long, add, subscribe, share with your folks. And if you want to be a guest, definitely holler at me as well. And I'm gonna let you guys get on with your day. Cash App, you already know what it is. $ DJ Battle 313. I'll see you guys later.